Breaking news, friends. May 18th, a series of explosions in Russia as well as a shooting in Dagestan. Well, tonight Putin is planning a training and combat launch of an intercontinental ballistic missile. The results of Zelensky's talks with US Vice President Vance and Secretary of State Rubio at the Pope's inauguration in the Vatican. The upcoming call from Trump to Putin and then to Zelensky, and the imminent meeting between Putin and Trump already at the end of this month. Will there be a 30-day ceasefire? We'll discuss all of this in my new blog. Friends, please like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and let's get started. Let's start, of course, as usual, with the explosions. Kursk region, Bolshu-Soldatskoye, the location of Putin's Russian mercenaries. Let's take a look at how we blew all of this up. Bryansk region, Suzemka is ready to fight for another 21 years, as Medinsky said. Well, let's watch how it all explodes and burns. And then there's the Belgorod region. For some reason, the local residents are complaining that the war has come to their homes. They weep and cry and moan.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm coming to you today in these little circles because I just don't have any strength left. There are tears in my eyes. We're all just exhausted now. The situation in the Valuiki urban district today is very difficult, very tense. And if yesterday was a terrible day, today is even worse. Drones were flying. Drones have started flying in places where they never flew before. Honestly, when we couldn't even imagine that they would fly there, but they are flying, hitting communication antennas, cutting off electricity, striking gas stations, right? Now 16 cars are burning. In the city of Valuki, private businesses have been damaged. Children are staying at home.
Crimea, Perevalno. The scale of the explosions is impressive. And this is the result of the attack on a Russian warehouse in Crimea. Everything burned down this morning. Chelyabinsk. The plane fell apart in midair. This, friends, is a video of a Russian Ka-52 Alligator helicopter being attacked by a Ukrainian FPV drone in the Kursk region. Such a helicopter costs more than $16 million. Glory to the armed forces of Ukraine, friends! Drones from the Security Service of Ukraine struck the ammunition depots of the 126th Coastal Defense Brigade of the Russian Federation near Perevalnoye in Crimea. The explosions frightened all the Russians. There were storage boxes for military equipment, weapons, and fuel and lubricants. There is also information that Russian soldiers were killed at the military depot. The Security Service of Ukraine continues to effectively target legitimate military objectives in Russian-occupied Crimea. Efforts to weaken the enemy's military capabilities will continue. In the Kursk region, the house of the head of the Glushkovsky district, Pavel Zolotarev, burned down. According to Pepel, army officers were living there. According to reports in the official's house on Proletarskaya Street, my God, these Rashists, they just can't seem to leave the Soviet Union behind. There were Russian officers present. Zolotarev, allowed them to stay there so that the building wouldn't be looted by regular soldiers, who have been marauding in the homes of local residents. The military could also have been protecting businesses connected to the district head's family from looters. Meanwhile, street wars have broken out in Dagestan between several youth gangs. Fights are happening in many cities across the republic, and the head of Russia's investigative committee has already taken an interest in what is going on. According to preliminary reports, the clashes began after a boy from Makhachkala lost to a representative from Kizlyar at a wrestling competition, which greatly upset his group of friends, and they decided to take revenge on the winner. Random bystanders ended up getting involved in the conflict. As a result, all of this escalated into major gang showdowns. Some of the participants in the conflict call themselves the 500s, while the others are known as the 113s. The investigative committee is now looking into what happened. A criminal case may be opened in the near future. And Russia is planning a training and combat launch of an intercontinental ballistic missile, according to the main intelligence directorate, with the aim of exerting demonstrative pressure and intimidation on Ukraine, as well as EU and NATO member states. The aggressor state Russia is planning to launch an RS-24 intercontinental ballistic missile from the Yars complex in a training and combat exercise on the night of May 19th this year, according to the main intelligence directorate. The missile will be equipped with a training warhead. The range of this missile exceeds 10,000 chess kilometers.
We have enough forces and resources to bring what was started in 2022 to its logical conclusion with the result that Russia needs. And this result is the elimination of the causes that led to this crisis, the creation of conditions for long-term sustainable peace, and ensuring the security of the Russian state, as well as protecting the interests of our people in those territories we always talk about, where people live, who consider Russian their native language and regard Russia as their homeland.
And in the Kursk region, billions have already been stolen from the defense sector. Officials embezzled 4 billion rubles that were allocated for the construction of defensive structures in the border region. The Prosecutor General's office has opened a criminal case against the management of the local development corporation. Rossiya 1 finally revealed the truth and showed how 50 to 60,000 volunteers go to the front every month. Their secret is out in the open: money.
Passengers on this bus are unlikely to remember Monday morning as a pleasant one. Some even ended up being late for work. And all because officers from the Military Investigative Department of Moscow, together with Oman Special Forces, went out on another raid targeting illegal migrants. Some foreigners were questioned by law enforcement at the bus stop, while others were spoken to in a hostel in the south of the capital.
Are there any Russian citizens here? Come on, FB. To the car!
To the district military commissariat. You will be registered for military service and your records will be checked accordingly.
Are your documents in order?
Yes. Everything is in order with us, yes.
The violators will have to explain themselves at the police station. Similar raids have recently taken place in other regions of Russia as well. Until the last minute, law enforcement keeps the location of the raid a secret. From the window of the Rosgvardia Soboryarofey vehicle, you can see the distribution center of a federal marketplace.
Go ahead and open it, colleague.
Law enforcement surrounds the vast area of 25,000 square meters so that hundreds of employees don't scatter or hide among the boxes of goods. They activate the fire alarm and announce a fire.
Hands on the wall, right now! Hands on the wall!
Attention! Fire alarm! Everyone please remain calm and leave the building.
I really don't understand, guys. What are you doing? Show your authorization! Everyone, put your phones away. Photo and video recording is prohibited.
The Migration Service, military investigators, and military enlistment office staff begin checking documents. Those who try to escape are stopped.
They'll check your documents and...
Everyone who falls out of line are former citizens of CIS countries who already have Russian passports but don't have a military registration stamp. And they all have the same excuse: I handed my documents to the military enlistment office but forgot to pick them up. At the mobile enlistment office, this is checked on the spot and summons are issued right there. Some former citizens of CIS countries have already shown interest today in signing a contract and being sent to the special military operation.
The security forces just burst in wherever they want, forbid filming, and detain specialists. At the end of the report, they say outright some people from CIS countries have already shown interest in signing a contract. Curtain. Trump wants to meet with Putin as soon as possible. It is being decided where and when this meeting will take place, said U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio.
In the decision of the United family to untie the deadlock, it is a direct conversation between Trump and Putin. He has already openly expressed his desire and confidence that this should happen. And we hope this will be resolved soon. Are you planning this? Well, I don't know. We have definitely made the proposal. The president has already publicly made this proposal. Organizing such a meeting requires some work. So I can't say that it's already being planned in terms of place and date, but he wants to do it as soon as possible. I think the Russian side has also expressed its readiness. Now the question is to gather everyone and decide where, when, and what the meeting will be about.
Such a meeting is possible as a result of the work of the delegations of both sides, provided that certain agreements are reached by these delegations. We consider it possible, but only as a result of work and upon achieving certain results in the form of agreements between the two sides. At the same time, when it comes to signing the documents that the delegations still need to agree upon, for us, the main and fundamental issue remains who exactly from the Ukrainian side will be signing these documents.
The United States has presented a strong peace plan. It's time to put an end to the war, Rubio stated. At the same moment, there was a response from Trump's propaganda. Let's see what they think about this.
I want to say to Trump, well, you did meet with Zelenskyy at the funeral of the Pope. The poor Pope, so to speak, whose funeral was turned into, let's say, some kind of political...
Everyone's forgotten Dad's funeral. Now all they remember is the spat.
You did meet with him. And after that, what do you want? Maybe I'll come, maybe I won't. Listen, just cut it out with all this, these cheap show-off moves.
Those guys even brought the plane around. Maybe he'll fly in again.
Maybe I'll come, or maybe I'll just be passing by. But tomorrow my whole day is booked, maybe the day after tomorrow. Call later. This isn't even a real conversation. So see, it's not a conversation at all. And you can't stoop to that level.
At the Pope's inauguration, Vance arrived as well as Rubio, Ursula von der Leyen, Italy's Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni, the Kings of Spain and Belgium, Felipe Okis, and Philippe, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky with his wife and other distinguished guests. Pope Leo XIV has officially assumed the office of Pontiff.
Every voice matters. Join our community, support independent journalism and help us bring you the truth from Ukraine. Become a member of Ukraine Today. Join us now.
Shocking footage. Vance, grinning from ear to ear, shook hands with Zelensky, who was not wearing a suit. If you recall, when the Ukrainian president appeared at the White House without formal attire, he faced criticism. The meeting between Marco Rubio and Vance lasted 40 minutes. And now, here are some exclusive details. Tomorrow's conversation between Trump and Putin is expected to be very successful. We have succeeded in narrowing the gap between the positions of Ukraine and Russia, said Trump's special envoy. Let us recall that EU leaders intend to speak with Trump before his call to Putin. And here is what Peskov thinks about Trump's call to Putin and the upcoming summit between Russia and the US, or more precisely, the meeting between Putin and Trump.
Such a meeting is possible as a result of the work of the delegations of both sides, provided that certain agreements are reached by these delegations. We consider it possible precisely as the result of work and upon achieving specific outcomes in the form of agreements between the two sides. At the same time, when it comes to signing the documents that the delegations still need to agree upon, for us the main and fundamental issue remains who exactly will be signing these documents on the Ukrainian side.
Friends, please like this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel, and write a few kind words in support of Ukraine in the comment. And now let's take a look at a breakdown of the latest Russia's propaganda.
A war is not won by how much of your own blood is spilled, but by how much the enemy blood is shed.
Baroque priest Tkachev has gone on a hunt for sinners. His target, childless men over 40.
There shouldn't be a high tax on childlessness, but it should be symbolic so that you are, in a way, stigmatized. What is this? Oh, you're 40 years old and you haven't had a single child? Who are these men who are 40 and haven't had a single child? Who are these people? This is some special category of drones. What, not even once, excuse me, I really apologize. What, you don't know a woman. What, you've never been intimate with a woman in your 40 years of life. And if you've been with many, why didn't you make any of them your wife? Why hasn't a single one of them given you a child? Why didn't you take responsibility for them? Why didn't you become a father and a husband? You just slept with them and lived like a drone. There are people like that. The state can stigmatize people like that. You made it, damn, to 45 and still haven't had any kids. What have you been doing? Are you a eunuch? Or what is it? Or are you sick or something? Bring a doctor's note. So, that's allowed, but in reality, the state can't really encourage people to do anything good. Maternity capital doesn't encourage people to have children. It encourages anything you want, just not having children. What encourages people to have children is love for God and for children.
At what age should you talk to children about war? From the cradle, how to do this using the military alphabet.
When a person becomes an adult and has their own children, they're constantly thinking about how to explain important things they've already understood themselves to their child. After all, the child has a different outlook, a different world. They understand everything in a completely different way.
One of the most difficult topics to discuss is war. Many parents don't know at what age they should talk to their children about this. From the cradle is the answer from the Altai Krai Regional Museum. How can this be done? With the help of the military alphabet, which was presented in Barnaul during the Year of the Defender of the Fatherland at the initiative of the cultural institution.
Maybe they'll learn what binoculars, ball, a rangefinder are, and so on. We are trying to uncover, perhaps, some forgotten things that played a huge role in the liberation, not only of our country, but also part of Europe.
The alphabet has other distinctive features as well. First of all, when selecting the words, we focused on items that are in the collections of the Altai Regional Museum of Local Lore, so that if a child wishes, they can see them in person. Secondly, the alphabet has a storyline centered around a conversation between a boy named Seryoja and his father about the war.
Not every experienced adult can explain to a child what a grenade is. A QR code will help with that. All you need to do is point your phone at it and show the video.
Well, you can learn about all sorts of equipment from those times, you know, from the Soviet Union. Or you can learn about the weapons that they used there.
The print run of the edition is 1,000 copies. About a third of the books will be sent to the region's libraries. The rest will soon be available for sale. The alphabet book is intended for children up to 7 or 8 years old. Daniil Kuznetsov, Vladislav Kovalev, a day well spent.
The prominent historian Medinsky, while commenting on the negotiations in Istanbul, shared fake quotes attributed to Otto von Bismarck and Napoleon. Medinsky simply made up the Bismarck quote and misrepresented Napoleon's.
Bismarck, who spent many years as an ambassador in St. Petersburg, learned Russian very well, and in general, he understood Russia. He understood Russia and recognized the common interest between Russia and Germany. He always used to say, never try to deceive Russians or steal something from them, because sooner or later the time will come when, Russians always come to reclaim what's theirs.
How did Zakharova yell again? The most educated people go to represent Russia. Well, why are you lousy lying propagandists on TV so obsessed with the toothpick and napkin that were found in Macron and Scholz's compartment? It's always like that. If you see a teaspoon, you immediately assume it's being used to measure out tea, something forbidden.
There was a very awkward moment when suddenly journalists entered that compartment where these wonderful guys were sitting in a great mood and saw a bag with some white substance in front of Macron, which he immediately put away, and in front of Merz, a little spoon, which, as experienced drug addicts say, is usually used to measure out a dose of the substance itself. Most often it's cocaine. Naturally, all of this quickly spread through the mass media. And now there's already a denial from the Élysée Palace Well, I was also waiting for an explanation from the office of the Chancellor of the Federal Republic of Germany regarding the little spoon, but in fact, no explanation followed.
These shots, which have gone around the world, and those eyes with which Macron was hiding this napkin, quote-unquote packet, tell a very clear story. It's the same group, this single clan that lives by the same rules, and they want to smear each other with something white resembling a napkin. Of course, we understand that they're drinking sparkling water and there's nothing to stir in it. It's not tea, there's no sugar, there's nothing that needs to be mixed.
Friends, please like this video and subscribe to my YouTube channel. Write a few kind words in support of Ukraine in the comments. Stay with us. Be on the bright side. Glory to Ukraine. Glory to the heroes. We will definitely win.
I specifically brought, let's say, certain confirmations that have already been presented in this studio. Let me read them out. At the same time as we were issued equipment, we were entrusted with the task of moving towards Kyiv. We were supposed to take part in capturing the government quarter, specifically the building of the Verkhovna Rada. The guys argued all night about who would be the one to raise the Russian flag over the Ukrainian parliament. They came up with clever schemes involving drawing lots, games, and so on. This was written by an active, well, let's say, military man based on real events. In other words, the political leadership set a task. That, in fact, in 2022, it actually failed.
Directly to the guys.
Help the guys directly.
Help them specifically, because the lives of people in the border regions depend on these guys, and the lives of other regions depend on the border regions. Because right now we are standing as a shield, and we are suffering. Our children are suffering, and we are protecting other regions. But unfortunately, some people still don't get this. Today, they're hitting us, they're hitting our villages, they're hitting our homes, and tomorrow they'll be hitting your homes. That's how it is. All week long, it's cooking laundry for us. And we can't post this in the group, because we might get in trouble with people who, well, as those who've been in our group for a long time know, a year ago, when we could still share something, we were forbidden to do so. It wasn't just us who were forbidden, but everyone, since this could be considered discrediting the army. So, those who are from the border areas know the situation, but for those in other regions, unfortunately, we can't share. We can only hint at things, give you a glimpse. That's what's happening here with us. But right now, the situation here is truly very sad. That's why I really want other groups, other cities to get involved. The call for help is very, very widespread right now. Our group doesn't need help for ourselves. I'll share the contacts. Please help them. Last night, we received a request from the guys on the Volyn front for the purchase of electronic warfare systems. They need a lot, but for now, we've decided to get 3. And even then, it's not certain that we'll manage to do it. Maybe other groups will join in. Maybe people from other regions will get involved. We're already at the point of an incredible cry for help. Because it's not just that we're tired. We're in such a situation that we simply can't figure out what to do or how to do it. Because here we have to help, and there too, and we need to save the children, and you can't abandon the guys, and you can't leave your home, and you have to stay here. And basically, there's nowhere to go. In short, the situation is just SOS. Good afternoon, everyone.
I'm coming to you today with these circles on my face because I simply have no strength left.
There are tears in my eyes. We're all just exhausted. The situation in the Volynski urban district as of today is very difficult and tense.
And if yesterday was a hellish day, today is even worse.
Drones were flying. Drones started flying in places where they never flew before. Honestly, we couldn't even imagine they would fly there. But they are flying. killing people, killing civilians, hitting communication antennas, cutting off electricity, striking gas stations. Right now at 10:16, as of this moment in the city of Valuiki, cars are burning and private businesses have been damaged. Children are staying at home.
They kept pressing. And in the end, the phrase was said, don't want to give up 4 territories? You'll give up 6. Today. It was said that this phrase was spoken during the negotiations. That's the absolute truth. That's exactly how it will be. So, Rubio is just like that. And notice, don't want to give up 4. You'll give up 6. Not even 5, but straight to 6. Well, yes, I think we even roughly know the names. So, Dnipropetrovsk, oh Lord, Dnipropetrovsk region, Sumy region, right? That's what's being talked about now.
I can suggest other options if you'd like.
But what seems simplest right now is because we're already operating in that territory.
I think Ukrainian strategists understand perfectly well that it might not just be 6, but even 8. I know of 2 more regions that are extremely interesting to us and are closer to the Black Sea.
Why not talk about them as well?